Thank you for joining us here at One Kingdom Worldwide as we share the greatest love story ever told in support of the God-led life. Welcome to Section 1, Essential Scriptural Context that has been lost down through the ages. In the last episode, we talked about how to approach the difficult conversations we need to be willing to have as individuals and as individuals within our groups. In the first episode, we said that the internet has opened up communication amongst Christian ancient language scholars, secular ancient history scholars, and ancient culture biblical scholars worldwide. And that over the past 20 years, the individuals in these peer-reviewed group conversations have made huge strides in identifying for us essential scriptural context that we have lost down through the ages, and that all of this has begun to be accepted by our seminaries of repute. So, now you know that a talmid in Jesus' day was not what we call a disciple in our day. Our Western ways error here has meant that, with the best of intentions, we have become like small gods to ourselves, doing as we see fit with what we have learned. But as talmidim of Rabbi Jesus, becoming more and more like our Rabbi Jesus, more and more we should only be doing and saying the Father's will for us. Seeing what he is doing and doing likewise, we will have conversations without using manipulate to control strategies, without division, but in John 17, oneness, in the attitudes of Jesus, and producing fruit of the Spirit. Jesus said that when we do this, rivers of living water will flow from him through us individually to others. Yes, it's plural. It doesn't say a river. It says rivers flowing out of you. Corporately, as talmidim in the collective wisdom, that looks to me like we will be flooding the world with living water. But are we? Because the enemy seeds sown over the centuries have grown to help us justify division amongst us, most downtowns have a church on every corner, each a different denominational division, sometimes offshoot divisions of the same basic denomination on the very same block. And now we have churches scattered throughout our suburbs in competition with one another for the money of the souls they need to sustain their operations, though they, with the best of intentions, believe they are doing God's work. In our region of 300,000 people, we have $500 million in church property that costs over $150 million per year to operate. We could easily do well with just 25% of them, saving over $100 million per year for ministry to God's children, those of various needs, instead of spending it on buildings that are mostly empty during the week, and on so very many salaries. This is $100 million not spent in service and the conversational learning that Jesus modeled. It's $100 million not spent in service that develops life-saving relationship with those in need. It's $100 million every year. Where are the rivers that should be flooding out of these buildings? Do you remember the 100-year-old downtown church I mentioned that said they can't afford to run it any longer? They said they would give it to me or anybody else who might use it for the Lord. I respectfully told them no thank you, that I believe that buildings are money traps, that Jesus never espoused having one, and that rather than doing anything for God, I endeavor to only do what he gives me with him. How do we return to what Jesus modeled to his talmidim? There are more 100-year-old churches and even 10-year-old churches closing in our area. Well, Pat Lencioni's book, The Advantage, is all the advantage you need as a talmid to humbly, gently, and respectfully request time with those to whom God leads you. Hopefully with friends and family first. Please respect that half of the people of the world will reject this simply because of their cautious, traditional personality type. They fit into a category called late adopters, and so come around to change only after they see the evidence of success. A very small percentage of people are early adopters, and these few are likely the ones with whom you will have success. Be patient as you experience that most people will not show an interest in this. Remembering that what you now know has not been known for centuries, can you humbly share it in the attitudes of Jesus? In fruit of the Spirit? Can you do so in love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, perseverance, and self-control? If you do it with a posture of superior knowledge, that will just be the pride and arrogance that causes another division among God's people. Remembering the deep-seated culture that has been passed on by well-intentioned seminaries for as long as we can remember. If God opens up an opportunity with a pastor, will you be able to remain in the attitudes of Jesus as you give them time to consider what you are now appreciating? Timing is up to the Father. Are you willing to be patient as they need what seems like too much time as they reconsider their seminary-trained positions? You may expect that they will want to know from you how you would hope to proceed. So let me remind you that first is about the leaders of the church reconsidering what it means to be talmidim. And they take some time to become true talmidim. Remember that there should be some sort of transition to conversational learning, perhaps has been previously described. But conversational learning will be key, whether it's in the church gathering or after the church gathering, hopefully over time becoming a part of the church gathering. When Jesus operated this way with the 12, it led to the 70 and the 500 that the Bible history describes. And that led to his story being shared across the whole earth. We'll talk about this more as we proceed. Have a great day in the presence of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, as God Himself helps you to reconsider how to live a life pleasing to Him. See you next time.